Hello everybody, today we're going to be talking about a blood/minion build for leveling on the Necromancer. Now first off, this build, you are not going to need any drops. You'll be able to get all of these just by completing the dungeon, so keep that in mind. This will be a nice smooth leveling build for on the off chance that you just have the worst RNG ever. This will be a build you'll be able to guarantee do as you're leveling up, and something that you can work towards. So first off, Aspect of Disobedience. It's a defensive legendary. It's going to increase your armor by 25%, and it's going to stack up 0.25% at a time. Keep in mind that all these aspects are going to be minimum rolled because they are aspects. That's the way it works when you get them out of the Codex of Power, but that's okay because 25% additional armor is better than no additional armor. Next, Aspect of Might. Basic skills grant 20% damage reduction for 2 seconds. Aspect of the Expectant. Attacking enemies with the basic skill increases the damage of your next core skill cast by 5 to 10%, up to 30%. Aspect of the Protector. Damaging an elite enemy grants you a barrier. Just another defensive legendary. Not a whole lot, honestly, on the Necromancer in terms of like gloves and stuff, and I guess in terms of things that you can get unlocked through the dungeons. Nothing really too crazy for that. Wind Striker aspect, critical strikes grant 8 to 16% movement speed. Bleh. And then on the weapon, this is going to be our first kind of bigger damage weapon, or I guess bigger damage aspect, and keep this in mind, you get this in Fractured Peaks. So you'll be able to get this, the main thing, right from the beginning. So that's actually why I really like this one. So Blood Lance deals 15 to 25% increased damage to its primary target per lanced enemy. So when this pierces, it's going to just do substantially more. So just keep throwing these around on everybody and it'll just start doing a ton of damage. It'll start piercing and things are all going to start dying. Aspect of Reanimation. Your skeletons gain increased damage while alive up to 23%. And so the reason why we use minions is mainly because there's not enough blood stuff that you can get from dungeons that would be really that great. And there's just enough to where you can do a really nice split between having the minions and having the blood, so you're kind of like a blood necromancer at this point. And I even took blood golem for the theme, honestly. Aspect of Potent Blood. When at full life, blood orbs grant 10 to 20 essence. This is pretty good because your hemorrhage is going to be should be generating blood orbs, and your blood lance will be generating some blood orbs, and etc., etc. And then lastly, Edgemaster's Aspect. Skills deal up to 10 to 20% increased damage based on your available primary resource. And for the weapon, 24% overpower damage, because this is going to be guaranteed to overpower. We have Sapphire, 3% damage reduction while fortified, and 8% resist all. For the minions, I'm going upgrade 2. Each time you critically strike, your warrior's next attack critically strikes and deals 50% critical strike damage, so I'm going to be using skirmishers. Then I'm going to be using the bone mages. Reduce the life cost of your bone mages attacks from 15 to 10%, and after being alive for 5 seconds, they're going to deal 40% increased damage. And then we're going to go for the blood golem. So the reason why this one's cool is while healthy, your blood golem gains 25% damage reduction and 50% increased damage, so it's just going to do a lot of damage. And personally, it's a blood build, so why would I not go the blood golem? I mean, come on. Like, even if it's not the best, like it's gonna be beastly. This is actually a pretty good upgrade. All right, or you could do this if you need defense. Your blood golem absorbs 15% of the damage you would take. That's a pretty solid defensive one. All right, so let's go ahead and hop right on into the skill tree. So I'm going to clear this out. So first off, we're going to go hemorrhage. We're going to go enhanced hemorrhage. Pick up blood lance. Come right on back here. We're going now, if you want defensive right off the bat, you can get this to start getting fortify, or you can get attack speed. Necromancer doesn't typically have issues living because of all the minions. Keep in mind you do have all the minions at level 1, so your defensives aren't going to be like, you don't need to focus on it too much. But that being said, going over here to Blood Lance, pierces through enemies who are currently lanced, dealing 15%. So keep in mind that when you throw it, it lingers on them. So in it for 3 seconds. So you want to repeatedly lance You want to repeatedly lance enemies, and you want to kind of just throw them everywhere like mad, and you'll get a lot of increased damage. Then you're going to want to go supernatural. So every 8 times you blood lance, you'll be guaranteed to overpower and spawn a blood orb under the first enemy hit. Then we have coming down here, we're going to have blood mist. We're going to have casting a skill that overpowers, reduces the cooldown of blood mist by 2 seconds. And then we are going to go blood mist leaves behind a corpse every 1 second. And we're going to do that just to make it easier to get our minions out. Or you could do blood mist fortifies you for 0.5% base life each time it hits an enemy. Either is fine. So now we're going to go and start thinking about passives. I'm going to go ahead and put a 2 points in to increase the damage and life of your skeletal warriors by 30%. Now, we're not going to need any of this stuff here, but there is this. So we're going to go ahead, put a point here. We're just going to start buffing our minions. Get that stuff out of the way. After we got our minion buffs out of the way, we can start putting some points into here. Now, we're not going to need either of these things. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to here, get 15% increased damage on our core skills, and then put another point to Blood Lance, and one more point to Blood Lance. Oh, take it back. We're going to max out Blood Lance, and then here we are at the ult. We're going to take Blood Wave, we're going to take Prime Blood Wave, and then we are going to take Supreme Blood Wave. So Blood Wave leaves behind 3 orbs as it travels. It's going to slow enemies for 4 seconds, and it only has a 50-second cooldown, so that's pretty cool. Now, at this point, so we have Blood Lance maxed out, we already have our Skeletal Warrior Mastery, we have our Skeletal Mage Mastery. Now we're going to want to come over to here and get our Golem Mastery. And then we are going to... there's 2 ways you can go next. So if you want to buff your minions, you can come over here and you can say after being healthy, you can give them attack speed, you can give them damage, or you can buff your blood stuff. Now I'm going to buff the blood stuff because that's what I want to do. But while healthy, your blood skills deal 18% increased damage. That's going to open up this, and we are going to take Rathma's Vigor. Now, you could take the 30% increased mini attack speed. I'm taking the Vigor because it's going to give me more overpowers, and overpowers are sick. And it's also going to increase my life by 10%, so that's also pretty good. Okay, so now at this point, we kind of have our whole entire build, together. So we can just kind of go through and start picking passives that are beneficial. We have 24 points left. So first thing we can do, we can finish buffing up Hemorrhage. Come back down here, and we can say your blood skills deal 5% increased overpower damage, and then it's doubled while you're healthy, so 30%. We'll go ahead and do this, so our minions will get healed by our blood orbs, and then we'll do this to get some Fortify for hitting with our blood skills. Now, I am going to come back up here. I'm going to take Death's Reach, more damage to distant enemies, since I am a ranged build. We are going then after Generation, you deal 3% increased damage for 6 seconds after consuming a corpse. So that's pretty good. Let's see here. Put 1 point into this. The reason why this is good is mainly for bosses. So you always want to put at least 1 point into this because it's an 8% chance then. And that'll really help you with bosses. Heck, you might even make the argument to put 3 in here. So now, coming back over here. So we want boom. Boom. Put this in here just because it makes it where your minions can't get one shot. So that's pretty good. And then bam, Inspiring Leader. Okay, well that's going to be it. That's kind of the general outline. You can change things however you want, but this is going to be the basic outline, the idea of the build, just to kind of go over it. Use your skeletal minions, let them do their thing, and then just start blood hemorrhaging everything, and then just start blood lancing everything. As you have the essence for it, hemorrhage, 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 blood lance, blood lance, blood lance. Use blood mist as well. It'll heal yourself and it'll deal some damage to enemies. Use blood wave on cooldown. Don't forget about then you have to use your golem and your erase skeleton so you can have that stuff out. but keep in mind your golem does have an active. It becomes unstoppable, taunts nearby enemies, and takes 30% reduced damage for 6 seconds, so it is a pretty good tank. Alrighty, well I think that's going to do it for this. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. And I will see you guys next time.